apostolate, speaking of the first part, the beat Carthusians indoors, he took his inspiration from the gospel, where Jesus speaks, where the gospel speaks to us a moment of great intimacy with Jesus. The disciples there gathered with Jesus on the mountain. This intimacy with Jesus must be at the very center of our lives. It must go beyond just being with Jesus. We do that all the time, even in our prayers and all the things that we talk about. The apostles were with Jesus all the time, but they didn't always understand what Jesus was about. To be intimate with Jesus is to have a profound and life-changing experience of Jesus. So much so that those who see us must be aware that we have known Jesus. Remember Moses, when he went to meet the Lord, he came back radiant so that everyone knew that he had been with the Lord. This is essential, because to be intimate with Jesus is to be able then to go and to be with our brothers. It's this quality of intimacy that is what we give to our brothers. We do this as consecrated people. We do this particularly as oblates of St. Joseph, living that identity that Jesus has given us. It's an identity with its charism, an identity with its own spirit. We do this by our lifestyle, that lifestyle of St. Joseph, the lifestyle of soberness, of moderation. This moderation, this humility, this spirit of work, this is the sign of our lives. Father also reminded us, as we heard at the conference at the beginning of our chapter, that we must be human. After contemplating Jesus, we are found with the problem of dealing with our brothers. After Jesus was transfigured on the mountain, the disciples went down to be with their brothers. We must be more human with each other. Show concern. Be interested in each other. Welcome each other. Greet one another. Try to remember what is important to each other, those special days, birthdays, anniversaries. Pay attention to the small details of life. We often get caught up in the big projects, but when dealing with our brothers, it's the small details that matter. Stand by one another. Know and feel that you are there for each other. You must also be happy. Happy to be in this congregation. If we live in a community, and this is that application of the intimacy with Jesus that we bring to one another, we definitely have a duty to help a brother, but also a right to be helped by that community. St. James, in the reading that we heard, speaks of the beauty of the danger of our tongues. How many problems do we cause each other with our tongues? Do not kill your brothers with your tongues. Criticisms, attacks upon one another. Remember the example of David, who had the chance to attack Saul, but refused to attack the anointed of the Lord. And for us, we are all brothers. We are all equally anointed of the Lord. No one should attack one another. When Father spoke now of the apostle side of our life, he reminded us that we are in the church as oblates of St. Joseph, that our identity is fundamental to our apostolate. We enrich the church by living that identity and by living it with our unique style in our apostolates. In our apostolates, we choose, as Jesus did, to give importance to the poor, the preferential option for the poor. But not just material poverty, every form of poverty. It means, in some ways, that we also have to compare ourselves to the poor. They are the standard by which we measure our lives. Father spoke of even such a thing as buying a car. If you have to buy a car, think of the poor. What car are you going to be able to buy? Not a luxury model, but one which will not cause scandal. This helps us to live better lives, to measure ourselves always against the work with not only the poor but young people, which is important. This chapter also brought out the importance of working with families, and especially the model of the Holy Spirit, the holy spouses. And also we talked about the importance of the missionary spirit. But we're to conclude, Father reminded us how important it is to be happy. Happy as an oblate of St. Joseph. Father usually signs his letters. He said that he is proud to be an oblate of St. Joseph, something that we should all be able to share in.